Alright guys, bought a 2001 Tiguan, no 2010 sorry, VW Tiguan with a panoramic roof that was inoperable. Didn't know at the time that it was inoperable, so we got a nice chunk of cash knocked off of it. Just want to quickly show you how I fixed it. I'll probably only take 5 minutes, but this is the car. And that's the panoramic sunroof. So anyway, I had to we had water in the footwell because these leak pretty profusely when they're blocked. Just top tip here, if you see this panel here, this can pop off quite easily with an interior tool. And then inside there, up inside, let me just get my torch. Up inside there, you can see that pipe that goes to the wheel arch. That rubber bit on the bottom, the black bit that you can see, is called the spider trap. That clogs up. That clogs up with filth and dirt, and it ends up pushing water out the top of it, and you end up with a footwell that's full of water. So that's the first thing that I sorted out on this. That led me to think about this sunroof and why it wasn't operating. So the first thing I've done was remove the housing for where the operation centre of the sunroof is, which is this bit here. And you can see the panel that I took off. Basically it's 4 screws. You've got one here, one up here, and one here, and one here that you take from this side, the underside. Once you've taken that off, you can extract this switch, which was my first bit of diagnosing. So I did purchase another switch, but we replaced that and it didn't work, which was quite a bummer, to be fair, because they're not cheap. So then upon investigation, I noticed that you can see the motor there, the one with the yellow sticker, and it's got a plastic housing. This one's the one I've replaced, as you can see, because it's got the scrapyard Tiguan written on it. But there's 3 screws that hold it in. There's one here, don't know whether you can see that, one on the end of it, and one just opposite, in between that that plug you can see, and the motor. So when I looked at it, I managed to extract it, and my first thought was this hole here has a lot of rust around it. So obviously there's been some water ingress into that area. So I decided to investigate. There's some clips on the side here that you can just prise off with a screwdriver, and then you can see the circuit board. And the first thing that stood out to me was this area here. Looks a bit burnt, a bit sad and sorry for itself. There's some corrosion around some of the circuits and everything else. This bit literally just pops out if you wiggle this connector, and then you can turn it over and have a real good look. And as you can see, this component here completely burnt out and destroyed. Mog, go away. Mog, 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 mog. So obviously motor replacement was needed. It even smells burnt, to be fair. So I purchased a new motor. I'm not going to show you it because it's actually fitted. But then the second thing was, I didn't want to put the new motor in and find out that the sunroof was seized, which case it could burn out the motor when you operate it. So what I done, once I got the new motor, I took the old motor and I took a Torx 25 half-inch drive, and I stuck that in this hole and hammered it in slightly so it's nice and secure, and I replaced this motor back in the housing. up there, and I used a ratchet to drive the mechanism. As you can see, it sort of moves. Bear with me, try and do this all on the phone. It's a bit tight, but it will move. There you go, with a ratchet to move the glass in the sunroof to ensure it wasn't seized. So that was good, that all worked. The sunroof opened and I managed to get it back. So then it was just a case of replacing the module unit in here, and then attach the switch back in. So the next step, I think, was you have to go down here to the fuse box, and you need to switch the ignition on and take out this 25 ampere fuse. That's the one that operates the sunroof, and switch the ignition on, and that clears the module in the actual motor unit and circuit itself up here. Switch off the ignition, put the fuse back in, and then switch back on the ignition. Now the odd thing is, there's a function on this switch once you've put it in where you need to recalibrate the sunroof. So it's quite a simple operation. You turn, once you've replaced the fuse, you turn the ignition to on, and then you slightly push on this, and you'll feel a micro switch. You can probably hear it, and you need to keep your finger on that open for about 20 seconds, and it'll open the sunroof, and the sunroof will do its thing, go back and forth, and it'll recalibrate itself, and Bob's your uncle. It should all work. Don't know what I've done with the keys now. So just give you a quick demonstration that it does actually work, and I'm not shitting anyone. So I've switched the ignition on, got the switch here, there you go, and there's several settings for the sunroof, and it's now working. So in essence, what VW would charge you, probably around about £600 to repair. That includes the cost of the module. I got the module from a company called Red Brain, second hand, off a scrap vehicle, guaranteed for 30 days, all your money back. It cost me £120. Probably took me the best part of, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, to fit, recalibrate. Job done. Cheers.